So I left this Expedition sitting for a couple of days in the shop here because it was the Thanksgiving weekend. And I came out this morning and turned on the ammeter to see what kind of a draw we might be having before I opened to touch the door or anything, move the key. The key is inside the cab, but it's sitting on the seat. We got 780 milliamps of current flow. That's not good. That's almost 1 amp. I don't see anything obviously on other than the security light. Now this has an aftermarket car starter in it and it's been disabled apparently. And I did try to use the car starter. I don't want to open the door and reset the VCM timer because I didn't latch the latch, so I'm going to try and reach in there and grab the key. So I watched the current draw while I operated this remote, and even though it doesn't respond, the remote lights up, but nothing changes on the current draw. So I don't think it's the car starter, but I don't know how it's disabled. I took a thermal camera and I looked at all the fuses in the fuse panel here in the battery junction box and the one on the passenger side kick panel, the smart junction box. And I had to open the door and trip the latch. So we're up to 1.8 amps now of current flow, but none of the fuses are warm in there, in that fuse box. And I've looked at things like the radio to see if thermal camera picks up anything on the radio. The only thing that it shows is the warm LED for the security light, which I see is flashing faster now than it was before. That smart junction box that was in here, according to decoding the part number, came out of a 2011 Escape or something similar. So that was wrong for the vehicle, but there is a problem now. It went down to 35 milliamps. Let's see what it does in the 20 minutes here. So while I'm waiting for this parasitic draw to drop, it's at 1.8 amps right now. It's been roughly 12 minutes, 13 minutes. I'm checking for a voltage drop across fuses, and this fuse here consistently shows a voltage drop of 0.2 millivolts. What fuse is that? It's a 20 amp fuse, second one over. Of course, Ford doesn't label them, they just give you a number. So that's number 36, fuse 36. Yeah, because that's 37. Oh, wait. Yeah, 37 is this one. So that's 36. I should really wait another few minutes and see if it drops to that 780 milliamps that we had before. So that's the third one in. You got to have really sharp points on your test meter probes. 0.2 millivolts. And if I go to the fuse next to it, it's 0.0, as are all the other mini fuses. I can't test the J case fuses, these capped fuses, because I can't get the probes on them. I'm going to wait another 5 or 10 minutes here, see if this current draw drops. I've looked for anything warm with the thermal camera and I don't see anything, including the rear wiper, power seats, This thing has an aftermarket radio that's on the CAN bus that's causing the communicate or option configuration error. At least I believe it is. I played with that after I checked for a parasitic draw the other day. I played with the features in the radio, so I'm wondering if I started to play with the gauges, because it has the ability to display gauges and readings on the radio display. So that must mean it's connected to the CAN bus if it can decode information. So maybe because I didn't finish programming it, it's hung or something, but then it doesn't show, with the camera, the thermal camera, it doesn't show warm. I'm going to check to see what fuse 36 feeds. It's still at 1.8 amps. So after another 10 minutes, that fuse that I was measuring a voltage drop 0.1 or 0.2 on was number 35. That feeds the four-wheel drive control module, but it dropped down to 0.1. And the parasitic draw has dropped to 0.9 amps, 900 milliamps. But I think I might have tracked it down to a fuse in the fuse panel. I've got the doors open, but the door latch is latched. And I got a consistent voltage drop, a fairly significant one considering across, I think it's this 20 amp fuse or this 20 amp fuse. I'll set up here. So when I go on this fuse here, it's 0.1. 0.1. This one's reading 169 millivolts. That's the third one down. Let's go back to that one. It's a 15 amp fuse. 169, 168 millivolts. That's pretty substantial. Now, what fuse is that? It's under the relay 20, 21, 22. 20, 21, 22. 23, 24. Yes. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 22, or 3 down is 22. So let's look at the information system and see what fuse 22 feeds. Or maybe we just pull it out and see if the draw drops. I don't want to pull it out yet. Well, this is beneficial. Identifix has some site issues. We're aware of a technical issue resulting in slower than normal usual website performance and session terminated errors. Well, let's see what happens. I'm trying to load the last vehicle. And it's loading. Pick up when it gets to this loaded. Well, it's painfully slow. It's still loading the page. This is going to be useless. I can't wait for this. Maybe I'll try and boot up my old software, my old AllData software. So I got your session has ended. Inactive for 6 hours. Yeah, it was like 10 minutes because it won't load. So I give up. I'm going to load AllData information from my hard drive. Fuse 22. But that's in the that's in the smart junction box. Fuse. I'll get information here. Well, according to this, fuse 22 powers up the park lamp relay coil, and of course powers up the park lamps, or something to do with the park expedition here. Power distribution, smart junction 1327. Oh, I'm going to pull that fuse out. So it's recording 0.9 milliamps. 0.9 amps, sorry. 900 milliamps. There's no park lights on. I'm going to pull that fuse out with that fuse. Those pliers. Third one down. Pull it out. Let's see what the ammeter did. Well, isn't that special? It did not change. It's still sitting at 0.9. So that fuse is blown. Okay, so that'll explain the voltage drop across it. Let's replace it and see what happens. So I don't have any voltage drop across that fuse now. 0.1, but this one down here shows 2.6. That's fuse number 38. 2.6 millivolts. Let's try again. 2.6 millivolts. So that's that fuse 38. That one right there. Let's find out what that feeds. So fuse 38 feeds the amplifier. Let's see, it says with audiophile audio. This has got an aftermarket stereo in here. Audio digital signal processing module. Navigator. This is an Expedition. Well, let's pull that fuse and see what the draw drops to. So it's sitting at 0.9. And I'm going to pull fuse 38. Right now. Let's see what happens. Well, it dropped to 0.04. 0.04. Let's change the resolution to 100 milliamps. We're sitting at 32 milliamps, so it's got something to do with that stereo system. Good grief. So listen to what happens when I plug this fuse in. I heard the subwoofer. Subwoofer power up. I wonder if the radio will work without that fuse. Well, the radio still works, but the subwoofer doesn't. But I was playing with this thing here and vehicle features, gauges, select gauges. You can get different types of gauges displayed on here. Fuel economy, validate PIDs. So it's obviously connected to the network, this thing. Pretty fancy radio. But fancy means complicated. Sometimes that's not a good thing. So we still have to figure out why. Well, I'm going to make sure the parasitic draw is gone now. Turn the key off. Oh, I didn't open the door because I got the latches tripped. Okay, let's trip the door latch.
And discover your debt-free future.
So I opened the door, and then we're going to close the door. Where's my screwdriver? Close the latch so it simulates the door being closed. And let's see what time it is. Let's look at the timer on the clock here. 3 o'clock, and I see the customer is phoning me. So it's been about 3 minutes, 4 minutes since I just turned the key off and opened and closed the driver's door. And we're down to 226 milliamps, which is probably a retained accessory power relay or something on, because 150 milliamps, 175 milliamps is roughly what it takes to power up a memory relay or something. So we're going to wait 20 minutes now. It's, according to this clock, 3:01, which is actually 3:45, because the time's not right in here, but it's relative. So after 14 minutes, 15 minutes, it's dropped to 32 milliamps. So that subwoofer being powered up all the time was killing the battery. It drained it down pretty good. It's funny that it didn't initially did it. So now I got to talk with the other shop and find out what they did to disable the car starter.